Hey, I'm Jamey from Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in a game called Vegetable Stock, which might be my new favorite stock game. I am not drawn to stock games in general, but this game works really, really well, especially since it's so simple, it's streamlined, and it doesn't outstay its welcome. So here's what Veggie Stock looks like. This is in a different language. I played it in English on Board Game Arena. And it's a game that takes 6 rounds, and all you do each round is you put, if there's 5 players, you put 6 cards, so number of players plus 1, that down here, these cards put out 6 random cards for 5 players, so 1 extra card. And then at the beginning of the game, you set up the game so it looks like this, so that the 5 different vegetables have different values. I think this might be a little bit into the game, but I could be wrong about that. So different values. So basically, if the game ended right now, every corn that you have would be worth $2, right? And all you do on your turn is that you pick up one of these cards. And so if I pick up, say, for example, this card over here, it means that at the end of the game, I'm going to score for the current value of 1 tomato and the current value of 2 corn. So if the game ended right now, tomatoes are 0 and corn are each worth 2. So I would score 4 points for this card. So you're going to do that over 6 rounds. So you end up with 6 total cards. But here's the hook and the catch, and this is really, really clever in my opinion. The card that isn't selected, so I said there were 5 players, but 6 cards. The card that isn't selected, the value of each of the different vegetables on that card increases. So say no one took this card right here. So at the end of the round, no one took the card with 1 carrot and 2 tomatoes. The value of tomatoes increases by 2, and the value of carrots increases by 1. So carrots go from 3 to 4. Tomatoes go from 0 to 2 because there's 2 tomatoes in that card. That card is then discarded, it's forgotten, but that changes the value of these different vegetables. So very simple to implement, and a lot of great tension in the game as you have control over the card that you take, but not the card that's left over, unless you are the last player to draft. But the thing that elevates this even beyond that simple but interesting hook is that the values wrap. They wrap around. And so if I have corn valued at 5 and there's a corn card left over at the end of a round, instead of corn going up to a value of 6, there is no value 6. Instead, it wraps back around and becomes a 0 value vegetable, which is huge because it means that no matter how you play the game, to try to get, so in my game, I'll use this as an example. I went heavy after carrots, and I was able to choose carrots and manipulate it just enough, make sure that last card had carrots on it, had the right amount of carrots or didn't have carrots on it, so that going into the last round, carrots were worth $5. I was going to get a huge score, but the last display of cards, the last 6 or 7 cards in our game, I think it was a 6-player game, had some carrots on them, had a lot of carrots on them. And it meant that the last card remaining, no matter what I could do, the last card remaining was a carrot card. And so the carrots wrapped back around. The carrots ended up being, I think, either worth 0 or 1 at the end of the game instead of 5. It had a huge impact on my score. And for that reason, that's why I usually don't like stock games. But this was a 5-minute game. It took hardly any time at all. And it really didn't feel like bad luck. I mean, I forced that strategy. I didn't diversify, which is my choice. And when you buy stocks, it's a good idea to diversify and not go all in on one thing. But I love how simple that is and how clever it is that it wraps around. The stocks can kind of bust and go back down to 0, and that you have some control over that. Not full control, but you have some control over that. So yeah, I think this, as of right now, this might be my favorite stock game. I really, really love it. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've played it in person or on Board Game Arena. And if you have a favorite stock game that does something like this, where the stocks wrap back around in terms of value, let me know about them in the comments below as well. Maybe I need to check them out. Or maybe I've forgotten that I have already played one of them. All right. Thanks for your thoughts. I look forward to hearing about this topic in the comments below.